My name is Heather K. Perez. I'm 29 years old, a software engineer, and until about 6 months ago, I was in a 2-year relationship with a man named Adam. I thought he was it for me. We met at a friend's game night. He was the funny, loud one, the type who could make a room feel lighter just by walking into it. He worked in marketing, bounced between startups, always chasing the next opportunity, and he said he liked how grounded I was. At the time, I thought that was sweet. In hindsight, it should have been the first warning shot. People who find stability fascinating are not always ready to respect it. The beginning was good. Adam had this chaotic energy I actually admired. He could get excited over the smallest things: a strange mug at a thrift store, a new food truck, the light hitting a brick wall at sunset. I was structured, careful, predictable in the ways that make bills get paid and calendars make sense. He pulled me out of my shell. I brought calm to his storms. Or at least, that was the story I told myself. When he was between jobs, I helped. I paid most of the rent for 3 months and never made him feel small for it. I built him a clean portfolio site when he wanted to freelance. I bought him a used camera when he said content creation might be his next thing. I was not just his girlfriend. I was his quiet safety net. And at first, he thanked me for it. Then, things shifted gradually. Maybe it was the algorithm feeding him those relationship freedom creators. Maybe it was his friend Kyle, who treated every woman like an experiment and every commitment like a trap. Or maybe this was always under the surface. It started with jokes. Monogamy is kind of outdated when you think about it. You wouldn't get mad if I kissed someone at a festival, right? That's not real cheating. You don't own me, you know? At first, I laughed it off. Then the jokes got sharper. Whenever I voiced discomfort, I became insecure or controlling. I was not forbidding him from anything. I was asking questions. Even that became too much. The real moment of clarity came on a random Tuesday night. We were watching TV. Adam got up to shower and left his smartwatch charging on the side table. A message lit up. Still thinking about Saturday night? You're unreal. Winky face. From a woman named Tessa. I did not snoop. I did not need to. That one message was enough. My stomach dropped, and I sat there staring at it, while the show kept playing to no one. When Adam came out of the shower with a towel around his shoulders, he saw me holding the watch. "Who's Tessa?" I asked. My voice was not angry, just numb. His face tightened. "Why are you going through my stuff?" I didn't. It lit up. He snatched the watch from my hand. "Jesus, Heather, that's invasive. She's just a friend." "Friends don't text like that." He rolled his eyes and walked toward the bedroom. "God, you're so insecure sometimes." I followed him. "Did you hook up with her?" He pulled on a shirt, avoiding my eyes. "We hung out. It wasn't a big deal." "You cheated on me." "I explored," he snapped. "You and I are too rigid. I've brought up non-monogamy like 10 times, and you keep acting like some outdated suburban wife who thinks love means ownership." I stood there, feeling the floor disappear under me. "I thought we were exclusive," I said. "You assumed," he replied. "I was trying to expand how we connect, and instead of being open-minded, you turned it into a morality play. Open relationships are normal now. Don't be insecure." That word, insecure, landed like a door closing. He kept talking, saying he did not lie, saying he did not owe me a report of every interaction, saying this was about agency. Agency, like betraying someone behind their back, had become a form of activism. That night, I went to bed without speaking. He tried to cuddle. I turned away. In the dark, staring at the ceiling, something in me went quiet. No yelling, no slammed doors, just the clean realization that this was not my person. The next morning, I made coffee like nothing had happened. Adam came into the kitchen cheerful, almost too cheerful. Like if he spoke lightly enough, the night before would shrink into something harmless. He kissed the top of my head and said, "We shouldn't let one disagreement ruin something beautiful." I nodded while holding my mug with both hands. He talked about how relationships evolved, how people needed space to grow, how jealousy could poison love if you let it. I listened without arguing, because arguing would have implied there was still something to negotiate. Inside, I was already gone. When he left for work around 10, I stood in the middle of the apartment and let the silence settle. His jacket was still on the chair. His coffee cup was in the sink. His laptop charger was twisted under the table. All those ordinary details should have made me sad, but instead they made everything clearer. I had spent 2 years making a home for a man who wanted the benefits of commitment without the responsibility of honesty. By 2 p.m., I had reserved a storage unit. By 5 p.m., I had booked a short-term sublet across town. I worked fast, because if I slowed down, memory would try to negotiate. It would show me Adam laughing at game night, Adam falling asleep on my shoulder during a movie, Adam saying I was the only person who made him feel safe. But safety had become something he took from me and spent somewhere else. Over the next 2 days while he was at work, I packed everything that was mine. My desk, my PC, clothes, books, my guitar, the expensive headphones I bought after my first big raise. I took the framed photo of my mother from the bookshelf and left the thrift store art Adam loved on the wall. I left the camera I bought him. I left the website files backed up on his drive. I left the little things I had paid for because I did not want to argue over proof of generosity. The apartment looked strange when I finished. Not empty exactly, just honest. His chaos remained everywhere. My structure was gone. The last thing I did before locking the door was leave a single note on the kitchen counter. "You're free now, just like you wanted. Don't contact me." Then I walked out and did not look back. The first few weeks were weirdly quiet. I thought freedom would feel dramatic, like some cinematic sunrise after a storm. Instead, it felt like stepping off a moving train and standing still, while your body kept expecting motion. I had a fold-out bed in a small rental with beige walls, one suitcase, my work setup, and silence. At first, I waited for the breakdown. I thought I would cry or scream or regret it. But the collapse never came. I was heartbroken, yes, but not because I missed Adam. I missed who I thought he was. There is a difference, and that difference saved me. In the silence, I started doing things I had not done in years. I called friends I had drifted from because Adam said they were too conventional. I went to the gym every morning. I took long walks whether he had texted. I opened a savings account just for myself. I slept deeper than I had in months. The biggest change was that I stopped second-guessing myself. Adam had made every boundary sound like an attack on his freedom. Wanting honesty became control. Wanting exclusivity became insecurity. Wanting respect became being outdated. But alone in that little rental, without his voice bending the room around him, I felt sane again. I blocked him on the main channels: phone, Instagram, email. I knew if he really wanted to reach me, he would find a way. 2 weeks later, he did. First, a mutual friend texted me, "Not taking sides, but Adam's been spiraling. You okay?" I ignored it. 3 days later, an email arrived from Adam's personal account. The subject line said, "I miss you. Please read this." I did not. Then came 2 more emails, then a payment app notification. He sent $1 with a note. "I hate how things ended. Can we talk?" I refunded it without replying. That was when the tone shifted. A week later, an unknown number called. I did not answer. Then a text came through. "Hey, it's Tasha, Adam's friend. He's not doing great. He just wants closure. Could you meet him once?" Closure. Funny how people want closure only after realizing the door actually locked behind them. I did not respond, but the updates started trickling in anyway. Tessa, the woman he had explored with, ghosted him after a week. Another woman he had been messaging had a boyfriend and only wanted attention. Someone else stood him up. Adam went from liberated and full of options to accidentally single and confused in under a month. And I realized something quietly devastating. He had not wanted an open relationship. He had wanted guaranteed access to me while he auditioned replacements. The updates kept coming, not because I asked for them, but because people love delivering consequences when they think you earn the right to hear them. A guy from our old friend group messaged me first. Tessa ghosted him. Total clown situation. She was never serious. I read it, set my phone down, and went back to eating dinner alone at my tiny table. Another message came a few days later from someone I barely knew. Adam's kind of blowing up the group chat. Everyone's tired of the drama. I did not reply. I was not collecting evidence anymore. I was simply watching a life he chose behave exactly the way I expected it to. Apparently, after I left, Adam tried turning the story around. He told people I was emotionally rigid, that I abandoned him because I could not handle a man with options. He said I was threatened by his growth, that I wanted to keep him small, that I made him feel guilty for wanting to explore modern love. For about 5 minutes, that version might have worked. Adam was charming when he wanted sympathy. But then he started posting vague things online about women not understanding freedom, while also privately begging Tessa to answer his messages. People noticed. Tessa did not become his girlfriend. She told people he was too intense. The second woman he had lined up already had a boyfriend and only wanted a fling. The third canceled a date and never rescheduled. His open relationship fantasy collapsed the moment it required other people to choose him without me waiting at home as backup. He went from liberated to lonely so fast, even his friends got whiplash. Then came the desperation. First, another email. Subject line, "Please, Heather, just read this." I did not. Then another payment app notification. $1. Note attached. "I know I hurt you. I just need closure." I refunded it. No comment. A few days later, an unknown number texted me. "Hey, this is Tasha. Adam is really struggling. He just wants one conversation." I deleted it. Closure. Such a pretty word for wanting access after losing control. Then his mother got involved. I found her email on a Sunday morning, sitting between a grocery coupon and a work reminder. Subject: Adam is hurting. The message was long, emotional, and completely predictable. Adam had always struggled with relationships. I had been the first stable influence in his life. A good woman did not walk away when a man was confused. He needed patience, not punishment. I archived it like spam. 2 days later, his brother Nathan texted me. "I know we messed up, but you two had something real. He cries every night." Blocked. The handwritten letter came last. No stamp, just folded paper slipped into my building mailbox. Adam's handwriting, dramatic and slanted. "Heather, you didn't even give me a chance to explain. I wasn't trying to replace you. I was scared. I thought if I had options, I would feel safer. But all I did was ruin the one person who actually saw me. I miss your coffee. I miss our quiet mornings. I miss how safe I felt with you. Please, even just one coffee. I've changed." I stared at it for a full minute. Then I ripped it in half and threw it away, because the truth was finally obvious. He was not sorry for betraying me. He was sorry the world outside our relationship was colder than he expected. The last direct ambush came in my building lobby. I walked in after work and saw him standing by the elevator in a hoodie, arms crossed, pretending he had not stalked me into a place where I should have felt safe. He looked smaller than I remembered. Less golden. Less sure. "Hey," he said. I did not smile. "You shouldn't be here." "I didn't know how else to reach you. You blocked me everywhere." "I did." He swallowed. "I was wrong, okay? I was trying to figure myself out. I didn't mean to hurt you." "You were not figuring anything out," I said. "You were stringing me along while chasing attention." His face tightened. "That's not fair." "What wasn't fair was asking for loyalty while planning your exits." He looked down. "I miss you." "Yeah," I said. "That happens when you burn bridges before you know how to swim." His eyes lifted, wet and angry at the same time. "You don't even want to hear me out?" "I did hear you out. That night you told me I was controlling, insecure, and outdated. That was the last conversation we needed." He stared at me like I had become someone he did not recognize. Maybe I had. Maybe he was finally seeing me without the filter of my patience. "You're really not coming back, are you?" "No," I said. "And you're not either." Then the elevator opened. I stepped inside and let the doors close between us. After the elevator doors closed, I stood alone in the quiet metal box and waited for my hands to shake. They did not. That was how I knew something real had changed. Adam had been standing 6 feet away, saying all the words that once would have pulled me back into explanation, comfort, guilt, and repair. But all I felt was the faint exhaustion of having to repeat a boundary to someone who had already heard it. I thought the lobby encounter would be enough. It was not. 2 days later, my boss called me into his office with a strange expression. "Heather, weird question. Did you give someone permission to visit you here?" My stomach tightened, but my face stayed still. "No." He nodded slowly. "A man came to reception asking for you. Said he was your boyfriend." I closed my eyes for half a second. "He's not." My boss studied me, then softened. "We'll make sure he doesn't get past the lobby again." I thanked him and walked back to my desk feeling a clean, cold anger. Not heartbreak, anger. Because even after losing access to my apartment, my phone, my inbox, and my patience, Adam still believed my life had doors he could open if he pushed hard enough. The last real confrontation happened on a Sunday afternoon at a cafe near my office. I was there with a few coworkers before a movie, laughing about a production bug that had almost ruined our week, when I saw Adam sitting alone by the window with a laptop and headphones, looking like a man trying to act stable in public. Our eyes met. I gave a polite nod and turned back to my group. Of course, he stood up and came over. "Hi," he said, breathless, like fate had dragged him across the room instead of his own choices. "Hey," I said flatly. His eyes flicked to one of my coworkers, a woman from the dev team, then back to me. Jealousy flashed before he could hide it. "Can we talk?" I stepped aside just enough to keep the peace, not enough to give him privacy that felt intimate. "I know you hate me," he said. "I don't," I replied. "You're just not part of my life anymore." That hit him harder than anger would have. "You really think I'm some monster, don't you?" "No, I think you're selfish, impulsive, and extremely good at dressing betrayal in intellectual language so you don't have to call it what it is." His jaw tightened. "Wow, you really don't believe in forgiveness." "I believe in forgiveness. I don't believe in recycling red flags." "You think you're better than me now?" "No," I said. "I know I'm better without you." The mask cracked. His shoulders lifted, defensive and furious. "You've changed." "I have. You helped with that." His eyes went back to my coworker. "Is she your new girlfriend?" "She's a coworker. And even if she weren't, it would still be none of your business." He tried one last time to soften his voice. I was lost, Heather. I didn't know what I wanted. You did, I said. You wanted freedom, attention, options, and a safe place to come home to when none of them chose you back. He stared at me like I had slapped him. I had not. I had simply handed him the truth without wrapping it in sympathy. You act like I ruined everything, he said. You did. But the good news is you did me a favor. You showed me exactly what to avoid for the rest of my life. His voice turned sharp. You're being so cold. No, I'm being clear. I'm not angry anymore, Adam. I just don't care. That was the last time I spoke to him directly. No more emails, no surprise visits, no friends reaching out to plead his case. Maybe he finally understood. Maybe he moved on to another audience. I never cared enough to find out. In the months that followed, life got better quietly. I got promoted and started leading a new product team. I picked up boxing, and there was something therapeutic about hitting a heavy bag without having to explain why. I moved into a brighter apartment with a bigger kitchen and no ghosts in the corners. I started dating slowly, carefully, not because I needed to replace Adam, but because I had finally stopped confusing chaos with passion. Eventually, I met Liam. He was calm without being dull, funny without being cruel, and emotionally grounded in a way that felt almost unfamiliar at first. When I told him the short version of what happened with Adam, he said, "Sounds like you finally chose yourself." He was right. A few weeks ago, I went to a mutual friend's engagement party. String lights, music, wine, the kind of backyard event where everyone pretends not to notice old history until it walks through the gate. Adam arrived late, alone. His smile was fake, his confidence thinner than I remembered. Then he saw me across the lawn, with Liam's arm around my waist, both of us laughing at some ridiculous story. Adam froze. Then he turned around and left. No scene, no speech, no final attempt. Just the quiet collapse of the power he thought he still had. That night, Liam and I went home, opened a bottle of wine, and watched a movie. No lies, no tests. No modern love speeches used as cover for betrayal. Just peace. Sometimes I still think about the note I left behind. You're free now, just like you wanted. Don't contact me. At the time, it felt like the bare minimum. Now, I know it was everything. Freedom without accountability is just a cage you build for yourself. And as far as I know, Adam is still trapped in his. Me? I'm just living.